right, so my voice is a little raspy. I'm a little bit sick, but essentially in our group discussion, it was typically agreed upon that in ancient times it was purely and solely divine intervention was the cause of everything, whether it was sickness or mental illness, whatever it may be. They were using snakes in some of their rituals to heal people. They blamed mental illness on devils. But when you get into the Middle Ages, a lot of people talked about how philosophers started to becoming more developed and more outspoken, but they were typically pushed aside. A couple people mentioned Augustine and how he felt that there was this necessity for reason and faith, to work together to become more of like a whole understanding of the universe, where we can use reason to understand what happens and faith to reassure us that what's happening is happening for a reason. When you get to the medieval times, you start to see actual developments in medicine with chemistry and some big inventions that happen, and people start talking about submarines and airplanes, obviously not that specifically, but the gist of those things, just the idea of those things. And when you start talking about why the progress of science was slowed, most everybody agreed that it was this conflict between religion and reason, and going against the grain of religion and these powerful religious authorities that really kept science in the dark and kept people afraid of experiencing and delving further into what science could be, because it was just so naturally accepted that everything happened because of divine intervention. One person mentioned that it was a huge confliction balancing reason and theology, and that there was this huge constant battle between the church and the natural inclination of humans to want to understand more about themselves and reason more with things rather than just saying this is what it is because of why it is. And you start to see that in the medieval times, where people start stepping out of their shells and delving further into the idea of science.